And and we are live. Yay to technology. Hello everybody. This is so exciting and you guys always know that I'm always excited. So it's like I can say this is so exciting and still be in the excitement every single day. So I am going to share my screen because I want you all to know who I'm interviewing today. So today is number 28, woohoo! Featuring special guest Cherisse Druett.
Druett.
Druett. Well, so of course it should be French style, right? Okay, Cherisse Druett. And we are talking about, we're passing joy around the world. That's the name of my podcast. But we talk about, in order to pass joy around the world, we talk about the coexistence, the duality of joy and pain, and the truth of it all. And so I'm going to share with you. That's a beautiful picture of Cherisse. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. And we're the purple hair twins. We have purple and blues in our hair. It's really cool. And so let's tell you all a little bit about Cherisse. Cherisse is a soul purpose coach, sound alchemist, an intuitive healer, and a motivational speaker. Her journey has been one of overcoming C-PTSD from childhood trauma, of harnessing her deepest pain into her greatest strengths. She came to see the beauty in her darkest moments and the learning that arose from them. Isn't that a gift to be able to learn from our trauma? Because you just don't sit in it, girl. I have watched you. You are a beauty, just abound and reaching out to all extensions to show your deep heart. And so, this is what it continues to say, to dig deep and embrace every aspect of the self and the human experience. And that is so in alignment with this topic. I think it's the most alignment there's been. Through standing in the fire of her truth and sharing her raw and vulnerable story, Cherisse hopes to inspire others to speak theirs from an empowered state. She's on a mission to guide women through a transformative journey, to release all the old conditioning beliefs and patterns, to activate the remembrance of the wild essence of their soul, embody their fullest expression, and share their magic, medicine, and gifts with the world. And I love that. So, hello, Cherisse.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you all.
And where are you zooming in from? Tell us that.
I'm in New Zealand.
New Zealand. Wow.
Yeah,
You're really far away.
yeah. Isn't it the beauty though? It's like we're still connecting. Woo.
We are beautiful connectors. That's because we're good at what we do. We smile, we love, we're real. And yeah, I'm super grateful that you accepted the invitation to be here today. And I just want to remind my viewers and my listeners. So we are live streaming into my private women's Facebook group, Authentic and Wholehearted Joy. We have almost 300 beautiful women from all over the world. We're also having listeners of all different sexual orientations and gender nonconforming, gender cisgender, and that is on my Podbean podcast channel. Those of you who are listening live and watching live, you get to kind of interact with us. So if I ask Cherisse a question and you want to answer it too, feel free to put it in the chat or the comments. And those of you who are watching the replays on Facebook or on YouTube or listening to the replay on Podbean, again, just participate, send us your thoughts, subscribe to the channels, and I look forward to sharing this topic worldwide. And then the other thing is, I always tell my guests, and this sometimes it can scare them, and sometimes it's like, oh, cool. But you don't have to answer any question you don't want to. Now, the funny thing about that is, I don't really ask you really intense questions. At least sometimes they might feel that way because it might trigger something inside of you, but you never have to answer anything you don't want to. It's a casual conversation. We're talking about joy, we're talking about pain, we're talking about all of what's in between. And I'm wondering if I forgot to tell something to my audience. Da, 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 da. Nope. If I did, I'll interrupt us and I'll do it then. So you're zooming in from New Zealand. So Cherisse, tell us a little bit more about the things that give you joy or the things that make you happy. And as a result of the internal joy that you have, you can feel those things that make you happy.
Mm. So a few weeks ago, I actually started having a daily practice of running up a mountain at like 6 o'clock in the morning and watching the sunrise and then sun gazing for 10 minutes.
Oh, I love that.
And that has been pretty incredible. And it's made me feel it's not even like it's an instant joy and instant energy, but it goes throughout the whole day. So I'm like addicted to sun gazing now.
Mm, love it.
Yeah, but I also love to sing. I love to dance. I love, love, love nature. And there's a lot of it here. So yeah, my friends kind of tease me and say I'm a bit of a forest fairy, because I'll
Aw.
just dance around hugging the trees. But yeah, it really brings me joy to immerse myself into nature. And I
Mm,
suppose that's because there is that nature within ourselves that we're connecting to as well. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting. I have friends who have called me the animal whisperer because every time
Oh.
we're out and about, animals seem to show up. And so you're the what did you call it? What did you say your friends call you? The
Uh-huh.
nature wilderness fairy? No, wait, what did you say? Forest fairy, right?
Yeah, forest
Forest
fairy.
fairy. So you're the forest fairy and I'm the animal whisperer. And we both have purple hair. So that totally makes sense. No, just kidding.
We need to go on a hike together, see
I
what happens.
know, I know. Well, and if I can endure that long flight to come there, you got it. We will go on several hikes together and stargaze and sun gaze and yeah, all of the above.
Mm,
So you
yeah,
mentioned music also. So how long have has well you're a singer and a songwriter, right?
yeah,
Can you tell
yeah.
me a little bit about that?
So it's super interesting. I've been singing for as long as I can remember, but I was always quite hesitant to, I suppose, share my music. And really, I've only been sharing original music for the last year.
Mm.
But I find writing so, yeah, I
Sort of,
know.
sort of, sort of, sort of.
Yeah. And I find writing so therapeutic as well, because I write about the journey, like this human experience.
Mm.
And yeah, I struggled to share it to begin with because it just felt so vulnerable. It's like, oh, I'm just like putting my heart out there in the song and then singing it. But that's really, yeah, that's really like it really facilitates those deeper connections, I feel, when you're able to share your true essence. So, yeah.
Deeper connection with yourself and deeper connection with others, right?
Yeah.
It's a really multifaceted opportunity.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so, do you in your bio it mentioned, kind of working through um, CPT, CPS, oh, CPTSD.
C-PTSD.
And so I know that I also have some PTSD. What remind me what the C is for?
Complex. So it's when there's layers of trauma stacked on top of each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the body hasn't had the chance to kind of like rebalance itself. It just keeps going up and then blows up like a firecracker.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so
Uh,
I have definitely experienced that, and it's kind of like a hit and miss, come and go, and mild depression. And yet, it's funny because we don't always see that in people who because we're good at really well, we're good at a couple different things, hiding it. But we're also good at embracing the beautiful parts of our life, And so oftentimes people will see us in that full embrace with the big smile and the genuine laughter and be really surprised when all of a sudden there's like this like, but you're so happy. Everything's all going so great for you. It's like, yeah, but there's some internal stuff that just happened to trigger something, right? And so,
mm,
with that struggle, I'm curious, do you feel like you've always had a joyful place inside of you that was always there and is what got you through those things? Or do you feel you had to cultivate and create a joy place inside of you?
I definitely had to cultivate and create it. So I was actually suicidal at like, I think I was 24 actually. It's when I It's when I first got diagnosed with C-PTSD. And my friend actually caught me sitting at my desk with a razor blade to my wrist, and she made me go get help. And that was kind of the start of it. Is I ended up at this 10-day silent meditation retreat, which actually saved my life because I spent 10 days with zero distraction. We weren't allowed to talk to each other, so there was like 100% like focus on meditation for 14 hours a day, and really learned to observe, and also learned that like things are always changing, right? So like even when I'm in a moment where I could be feeling like this is like a really dark moment within myself, I know it's not going to last. So I think that was kind of the start of my journey. And then from there, yeah, I just really started to cultivate just all the high vibrations.
Yeah.
Because it's also interesting when I think back. I was really lonely a lot during that time, Misha, and it's like you said, I was so good at hiding it at the time, and I was outwardly such an extrovert, so bubbly that no one actually knew that deep down I was struggling with all that. Um, and yeah, so it's really interesting that nowadays I can look back and I'm like, wow, I was lonely all the time. It didn't matter who was around me. It didn't matter if I was in a relationship. I still felt lonely. But these days I love being on my own. When I'm on my own, I actually really thoroughly enjoy it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel like that's quite a big it's interesting to reflect back actually.
Mhm. I think that's
Yeah.
why you, me, and several of the other people in our coaching program have been called to do what we do because we've been able to live through that darkness and know that it's temporary. And so
Mm,
we empower these other women to really listen to their hearts and live the life they're meant to be in their authentic
mm,
selves, right? And
mm,
yet, in order for our clients to be able to do that, we have to also embrace the pain, and not sit in it, but know that it's there and that it's okay.
mm,
Just as the joy
mm,
fades, the pain fades, and the joy comes back again, and the pain comes back again. And it's like, but the more we learn to own and love ourselves, to own our essence and love ourselves, I don't know, that's just my interpretation. I think it gets easier even when there are difficult moments, right? I think there's a what is the quote that oh, something about dancing in the storm. Like the storm's gonna keep coming. It's not how we I'll find it and I'll put it in the quote in the comments later. But it's not about like
yeah.
bracing ourselves for the storm, but learning how to dance with it, to
Mm. Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's interesting because my friend used the term blessings yesterday, and I think it's pretty spot on actually. When you're in those challenging moments, it's like, okay, it's a blessing. It's a blessing and a lesson.
absolutely.
Yeah, even though it might not seem like a blessing at the time. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And so how
yeah,
do you feel you have been you went through an extremely painful time, razor to the wrist, and I tell my audience we speak about it. It's not an elephant in the room. It's very important
yeah.
to talk about it. There's no judgment. You were in a lot of pain. That is what you thought was your solution at the time.
Mm,
And yet it didn't happen. And you've had to cultivate your joy. How have you done
mm. Wow. So I suppose back to the meditation center and the beginning of that, I feel that for me, um, I recognized what a dark state I was in, and I was very much in the victim mode. So it was all about I really needed to like shift my perspective, and also it almost felt like I had 10 days of mind purification when I was there.
that?
Yeah, it was probably one of the hardest things I actually ever did, that 10-day silent retreat. Um, yeah, but I just it just changed everything for me because it's actually it really resonated what you said earlier. But I feel like when I came out, I'd like made this decision. I was like, okay, everything happened for me, and I started to see the positives. I was like, wow, there's empathy, there's compassion, there's resilience, like I'm still alive. And then I thought, I not like in that moment, I thought I not only want to be alive right now, but I want to make it count. And then the whole service to others kicked in then, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, you know. And actually, service brings me so much joy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, your music is a form of service.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Mm.
even dyeing your hair is a form of service.
Mm.
It makes people smile, really. I mean, my partner and I were talking about that today. I was like, I think I need to dye it again. It's getting kind of like, the rainbow is gone, you know? And she's like, well, if that's what makes you happy, I said, yeah, but it stinks. Those fragrances are awful. But then I was like, oh, yeah, duality, go through a little suffering for the beauty. But it's fun. And it does make me feel really excited. Not that I mean, I don't care about the gray hairs, but I do love the color, and I dye my hair
Mm.
purple in memory of my mom. And this year I decided to do it rainbow. And so I know it seems like it's something very small, but even your hair color radiates joy and fun for other people. So you're being
Yeah.
of service, right?
Yeah. 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 And I feel when you're in your fullest expression as well. Um, yeah, I was thinking about this recently actually, as when someone's in their fullest expression, you see them dancing with all their heart and soul. It brings us so much joy. But yet sometimes we struggle with a fear of judgment, or what are people going to feel like if I'm in my fullest expression. But actually, if you think about it, it's like they're probably witnessing you enjoy as well.
Mhm. Absolutely. And those who are not are suffering and struggling, and they
Mm,
want what you have. Right?
mm,
I've had people say to me, you don't even need wine to be the way, you don't even need to be drinking or that, I tease my kids all the time. I'll say something like, Mom, like, I know I'm not on drugs. It is totally me. It is all real. Like, it's, very
mm,
authentic high, on life. And I think that there are times when we can misperceive other people's judgment of us. And
mm,
instead of not liking us, it's actually envy. They wish they could be so free and joyful and really in their fullest expression.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, what would you say would be? I know you've talked about meditation being a tool. You've talked about kind of embracing your fullest self. What would you say is one tool, self-care tool, you could offer to our audience as far as a way to connect with their joy?
Yeah. Um, I feel just being really present with it. So something I do quite regularly is I check in with myself, and then I'll take a few deep breaths and just really allow myself to feel whatever's going on. Like almost like a lot of the time we're up here, right? I feel like when you drop into your body, something magical really occurs, and then you feel the sensations that emotions bring. And I often check in with myself during the day, and it doesn't matter whether I'm feeling pain or joy, but I'll allow myself to just witness myself and just, yeah, just really feel things in their fullness. Because what I found as well is even if I'm feeling a more negative experience at the time, because it's life is very up and down, right? um if I'm witnessing it, it's almost like it doesn't like to be watched. So it releases a lot quicker. It's like, oh, she's watching me. I'm like,
Right.
I see you. I see you, uneasy feeling in my stomach with the color gray.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So being
Yeah.
present, being conscious, I think that that's a really important piece. And so many people are so quick to run away from joy and from pain. I'm equally.
Mm,
Some people are totally terrified of joy because they think, okay, when's the next shoe going to drop? And some people are terrified of pain because it just feels like it goes on and on and on. And yet they're equally as temporary. And I can say that on the emotional level, a physical pain is a little bit different for a lot of people. So it was a good distinction that someone made a couple of podcast interviews ago. But yeah, I think that notion of one thing that I shared in the spring when I first started doing these interviews and podcasts, is that the first piece is to be aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel it. What something's going on, something's different. Not that something's wrong. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important to not immediately assign judgment to it, but something
Mm-hmm.
different. And then acknowledge, once you become aware, acknowledge it. Oh, you're here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, anger. I feel you. I feel you dropping in deep. I feel the butterflies. I feel the fire, manifesting. And then the action is, do I breathe? Do I call someone to talk about it? Do I meditate? Maybe all of the above. And then there's like action A and action B in my book. Action A
Mm-hmm.
is calm, breath, piece of calm, meditating, call a friend, whatever it is. Action B is ask it to leave. Thank you. You've had plenty of time. You haven't paid rent. You need to go now. But if we don't acknowledge it, then it will
Yeah,
sit there and it will fester until it
yeah,
explodes and we're faced with it
yeah,
like, oh, you're ugly. you know
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's even more scary, right?
yeah, yeah. Because I often sometimes even ask, why are you here?
Yes,
What am I here to learn? What do you need me
yes.
to know? You know?
Absolutely. I think that's critical. If we don't
Yeah.
talk to it,
Mm,
I mean, I talk to myself all the time, so what's new? What's
me
different?
too.
But if we don't talk to it, we're ignoring it, you know?
Mm,
And maybe it's just wanted a little bit of attention. There's a
mm,
very famous process now called IFS, internal family systems, and it's about
mm,
identifying different parts of yourself and having those dialogues with each different part and finding out, well, why is this one so persistent? Well, because they're
mm,
jealous. They want this attention and you're giving it over here. So it's a really interesting concept. And I want to do a little bit more, you know, um, research in that area. Oh my goodness, I
mm.
didn't realize the time. So we're getting close to the end here. That was fast. So tell me, that's crazy. Uh, so, gosh, let's see. I had so many questions, but that's okay. We went where we needed to go. Hmm. Well, let's tell my audience about your Facebook group. What is your Facebook group and what do you do there? And why would you encourage a woman to join your Facebook group?
Okay, so it's interesting. I suppose something that has surfaced a lot actually recently since I've been on this healing journey, has been a lot of conditioning has surfaced over the years. Um, yeah, I was brought up in Brunei, and I just found a lot of conditioning of how a woman should behave appropriately and not have a voice. And it took a long time for that to surface, actually. I suppose I had to work through other stuff first. So for me, self-expression and really being able to be authentically yourself, to me is just so magnetic and expansive and something that I love witnessing in others, but it's been such a journey for me as well, being able to be seen that way. So it's really a safe space for women to come and just fully express themselves. But we're all celebrating each other and encouraging each other and just sharing that journey with each other. Um, yeah. So yeah, get to
Well,
explore
good.
our fullest expressions.
Yeah, exactly. And I did already put the link to your group in this live stream on my Facebook group, but it'll also go in all the other
Amazing.
links. So hopefully people will
Uh,
join your Facebook group and get to experience their true expression, true self. And yeah, I just want to thank you, Cherisse. Is there anything you want to say lastly to our listeners, viewers, anything about anything, coexistence of pain and joy, or yeah, just anything.
did you still want me to sing Embrace?
Oh, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Yes, please. Oh,
Oh
shoot.
my goodness.
I was gonna put the lyrics. I was gonna put the lyrics. I think, did you give me the lyrics? I can't remember.
No, but I can.
Okay, yes, I would love that. But yes, please go ahead and sing it to us.
Yes. This one is about polarity. It's called Embrace. I do have to shut my eyes when I sing. Something that I just
I'm
feel
gonna,
it more.
spotlight you though, so people can actually look at you as opposed to look at me. I think I can
Okay.
do this. Maybe I can't do it. It's okay. Just go ahead.
Okay. Shadows can only be cast where there is light. No in between, only black and white. If you only ever see with your eyes, what do you really expect to find? There is no pleasure without the pain. Nothing to lose with nothing to gain. Embrace the polars of reality. Create the change that you wish to see. Embrace, embrace your darkness. Only then can you lead with light. There is a fuller version, but I might just write the lyrics out.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I love it. I especially, yeah, I love it. Do the chorus again.
Embrace, embrace your darkness. Only then will you lead with light.
Night. Love it.
Yeah, we so
Oh,
need to have a
thank you. That's oh so awesome.
yeah. But it is I feel there's, it's really important to be able to really, yeah, embrace both of them because it's all a part of us and there's beauty in both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thank you, sister. So
thank you.
grateful that we could be here together. And I can only imagine that anybody who decides to be in your group or to coach with you one-on-one will really feel the credibility, authenticity, and love that you provide.
Oh, thank you for having me. And yeah, what a beautiful reflection.
Aha! What? Thank
Ah.
you. Touche. All right.
Yeah.
So goodbye to all our viewers. Definitely pass the word. If you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, you can also reach out to me. And don't forget, if you are a woman identified, to join Cherisse's group. And yeah, bye, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.